I've spent weeks digging through Ford owner reports, suspension teardown videos, and mechanic case files, and one pattern kept showing up again and again. The worst suspension failures weren't random at all. They were triggered by a silent pattern of everyday behavior that slowly pushes a Ford past its limits. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn the 5 hidden habits that could be weakening your suspension right now. Step 1. Regular inspection and preventative maintenance. Every 12,000 miles, or at least once a year, you need to thoroughly inspect critical suspension components. We're talking shocks, struts, bushings, control arms, ball joints, and sway bars. Every single one. Here's what you're looking for. Leaks in shock absorbers. If you see oily residue on the shock body, it's bleeding hydraulic fluid and losing effectiveness. Cracked or perished bushings, these rubber components dry out and split over time. Rust eating away at metal parts. Loose or damaged bolts that could catastrophically fail. Now, mechanical joints with grease fittings need lubrication, ideally every 6 months or during your regular oil changes. This prevents excessive friction between moving parts. Without lubrication, metal grinds against metal, creating wear that accelerates exponentially. Keeping components clean matters more than most people realize. Road salt, mud, and grime aren't just cosmetic issues. They trap moisture against metal surfaces, accelerating corrosion that compromises structural integrity. Address minor issues immediately. That small oil seep on your shock, if you catch it now, it's a $150 shock replacement. Ignore it for 6 months? Now your tire's wearing unevenly, your handling's compromised, and you're looking at $600 in combined repairs. Professionals recommend additional inspections after significant impacts. Hit a massive pothole that made your teeth rattle? Get it checked within a week. Hidden damage doesn't announce itself immediately. It deteriorates quietly until something fails catastrophically, often at highway speeds. Step 2. Master tire care and wheel alignment. Your tires and suspension are in a constant relationship. When one suffers, the other pays the price. Let's start with tire pressure. Seems basic, right? But maintaining proper pressure according to your Ford specifications is absolutely vital. Underinflated tires create excessive sidewall flex, forcing suspension components to work harder with every bump. Overinflated tires transfer more impact force directly to shocks and struts. Both scenarios create uneven suspension loading. Tire rotation every 5,000 to 8,000 miles distributes wear evenly across all 4 corners. This isn't just about extending tire life, it's about maintaining balanced suspension loading. When one tire wears faster than others, it creates height differences that stress suspension geometry. This is where it gets interesting: tire tread patterns. Uneven wear isn't random. It's your suspension's way of communicating problems. Inside edge wear, likely alignment issues, cupping or scalloping, probably worn shocks or struts. Center wear, you're overinflating those tires. Wheel alignment is the invisible killer of suspension components. Misaligned wheels don't just affect steering, they increase stress on shocks, struts, bushings, everything. Your suspension is constantly fighting against improper angles, wearing parts at accelerated rates. Get alignments checked annually minimum. After hitting a serious pothole or curb, check it immediately. That $100 alignment could prevent $1,500 in premature suspension component replacement. Think of proper tire care and alignment as insurance. You're not just maintaining tires, you're protecting the entire suspension system from unnecessary abuse. By the way, if you're still watching at this point, it means you actually care about keeping your Ford running for decades. So do yourself a favor. Hit the like button so this video reaches more Ford owners who have no idea they're damaging their trucks every single day. But why do some Ford trucks and SUVs with aggressive off-road suspension modifications and lift kits seem to last forever without issues, while others with completely stock suspensions fail prematurely despite following every maintenance recommendation in the manual? Well, it all comes down to load distribution and dynamic geometry balance. When manufacturers design suspension systems, they engineer them for specific load ranges and geometric relationships. Every component, springs, shocks, control arms, bushings, works within optimal angles and force distributions. When modifications are done correctly by knowledgeable professionals, lift kits and suspension upgrades actually recalibrate the entire system. They're not just throwing bigger parts on, they're adjusting control arm angles, shock positions, spring rates, and bump stop locations to maintain proper geometry under the new configuration. These modified Fords last because their suspension geometry remains optimized even though it's lifted. The components work in harmony, distributing forces as intended. Stock suspensions that fail prematurely, they're almost always experiencing geometric disruption from outside factors. Worn bushings that alter control arm angles, sagging springs that change ride height, mismatched replacement parts that don't maintain factory specifications. Your suspension isn't just a collection of parts. It's a precisely balanced system. When one component degrades, it throws off the geometric relationships, causing other parts to operate outside their optimal angles. This creates a cascading failure effect. A worn bushing shifts a control arm angle by 2 degrees. Doesn't sound like much, right? But now your ball joint is operating at an angle it wasn't designed for, accelerating its wear. Your shock is compressed slightly differently, changing its damping characteristics. Your spring isn't sitting in its optimal position. Within 10,000 miles, you've gone from one worn bushing to multiple compromised components. And most owners never connect the dots because the failures happen gradually. So here's your action item. Maintain geometric integrity religiously. When replacing any suspension component, ensure you're maintaining factory specifications or properly recalibrating the entire system if making modifications. This is why using quality parts matters so much. That cheap aftermarket control arm might physically fit, but if its geometry is even slightly off from OEM specs, you've introduced system-wide stress that'll shorten the life of every connected component. Step 3. Drive smoothly and respect your suspension's limits. Aggressive driving, sharp acceleration, hard braking, fast cornering places massive strain on suspension components. Every hard launch compresses your rear shocks violently. Every panic stop nosedives your front struts. Every aggressive corner loads your sway bars and bushings beyond normal operational stress. Gentle acceleration, gradual braking, moderate cornering speeds, these habits dramatically extend component life. Potholes are suspension killers, period. When you see one, avoid it if safely possible. Can't avoid it, slow down significantly before impact. Speed determines impact force exponentially, not linearly. Hitting a pothole at 40 miles per hour generates roughly 4 times the force of hitting it at 20 miles per hour. Speed bumps, same principle. They're designed to force you to slow down, but somehow people still hit them at 25 miles per hour and wonder why their shocks are blown at 60,000 miles. Slow to a crawl over speed bumps and your suspension will thank you. Rough or uneven roads accelerate wear through constant micro-impacts. When unavoidable, reduce speed to minimize the forces transmitted to suspension components. Also make sure not to overload your Ford. Every vehicle has a maximum load capacity clearly specified in the owner's manual. Exceed it regularly, and you're stressing springs, shocks, and bushings beyond their design limits. Bottom line, smooth, mindful driving isn't boring, it's smart ownership. You'll enjoy your Ford longer and spend dramatically less on repairs. But there is an industry secret that dealerships and shops don't advertise. Did you know that suspension components wear in matched sets, but they're almost never replaced that way? Let me explain. Your right front shock is leaking. You replace it with a brand new unit. Problem solved, right? Wrong, dead wrong. Your left front shock is the same age, with the same mileage, experiencing the same road conditions. It's 80% worn, even though it's not leaking yet. Now you have one brand new shock and one nearly worn out shock on the same axle. This creates an imbalance. The new shock provides different damping characteristics than the worn shock. Your Ford pulls slightly during braking, handles unpredictably in corners, wears tires unevenly, and the side with the new shock actually experiences increased stress because it's compensating for the weak side. Here's the strategy that saves money long-term. Replace suspension components in pairs at minimum, preferably in complete sets. Both front shocks together, both rear shocks together. Left and right control arms, Both sway bar links. Yes, the upfront cost is higher, but you're restoring balanced performance and resetting the wear clock on all components simultaneously. Step 4. The complete rust, corrosion, and environmental protection strategy. Rust and corrosion can turn a mechanically sound Ford into unsafe transportation shockingly fast. Weakened suspension components don't just perform poorly, they can fail catastrophically while driving. Your annual protection routine should include applying rust inhibitor spray before harsh weather seasons, conditioning rubber components every 6 months, regular undercarriage washing to remove corrosive materials, inspecting for rust damage during routine maintenance. Pay special attention to suspension mounting points. These areas experience the highest stress and are often where rust causes the most critical failures. A corroded shock mount can separate from the chassis while driving extremely dangerous. If you discover surface rust during inspections, address it immediately. Wire brush the affected area to remove loose rust. Apply rust converter to stop progression, then coat it with rust inhibitor for ongoing protection. For frame and subframe components, consider professional rust-proofing services. These typically involve drilling small access holes and injecting rust inhibitors into hollow frame sections. Professional rust-proofing costs $400 to $800, but for a Ford you plan to keep long-term, especially in harsh climates, it's worth every penny. Step 5. Bringing it all together. We've covered a lot of ground like inspections, tire care, driving habits, replacement strategies, and rust protection. But here's the thing. These aren't 5 separate tasks. They're interconnected habits that form a complete suspension care lifestyle. Think of it this way. Regular inspections catch problems early. Proper tire care and alignment reduce stress on components. Smooth driving prevents excessive wear. Strategic replacement restores system balance. Rust protection ensures structural integrity. Each element supports the others. Great driving habits mean less to inspect during maintenance. Rust protection preserves components so they perform better longer. Balanced replacement means your suspension operates as an optimized system. Ford engineers designed your suspension to handle decades of use, but only if you hold up your end of the partnership. Give it the care it needs and it'll deliver performance, safety, and comfort for the entire life of your vehicle. So which of these 5 steps do you think you've been neglecting the most? Drop your honest answer in the comments. And if this video gave you the knowledge to keep your Ford riding smooth for years to come, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell.